story we have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds the superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star game, they've dropped by 50%.
When you come to Indianapolis, look, this is what everybody's been talking about. This right here, Caitlin Clark, the banner right there on the JW Marriott. It is 34 stories banner, unbelievable. It's the largest banner ever on the JW Marriott. You may think about the bracket. Remember back in the NCAA tournament back in 2021? Yeah, it's bigger than that as well. 113,000 square feet. It is unbelievable. And you see what it says, from downtown in my town. No doubt, this is something that is grabbing everyone's attention. And who else better to be on that than the star herself, Caitlin Clark?
Hold up. Let me paint you a picture that'll blow your mind. Indianapolis rolled out the red carpet like never before. We're talking about a 34-story banner of Caitlin Clark, 34 stories, plastered on downtown's biggest hotel. Businesses hired extra staff, the airport built a replica basketball court, and tickets were flying off the shelves for thousands of dollars. This was supposed to be basketball royalty coming home. Instead, it became the most expensive lesson in WNBA history about what happens when you don't protect your golden goose. And Commissioner Engelbert? Her response to this disaster will make your jaw drop, and not in a good way. Stay with me because this story gets darker than you think.
Really unfortunate that Caitlin Clark missed it. The crowd would have been exploding. The crowd would have been exploding. The arena would have been exploding. Oh man, a big miss as far as the WNBA is concerned.
Then July 17th happened. Clark's groin injury announcement hits. Listen to those numbers and let them sink in. Get-in prices hit $121. That means the cheapest ticket to watch Caitlin Clark was over $100. Average resale tickets, $262. The best seats were going for thousands. In WNBA history, nothing, and I mean nothing, had ever commanded prices like this. Indianapolis had never seen anything like it. Businesses were practically printing money in preparation. Then reality hit like a freight train, and everything you're about to see proves one terrifying truth. The WNBA is a house of cards built entirely on one player's shoulders.
From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing. These are people saying, I'm done. I don't want to watch. Caitlin Clark's not. I bought tickets solely to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. I made accommodations solely to get to Indiana to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. She's injured. I have no interest in that anymore. People are selling their tickets so much so they just want off of them. 121, okay. You want it for 100? Oh no, okay. I guess I gotta lower it to 80. Oh, you don't want to buy it for 80? Okay, I guess I'll lower it to 70. You don't want to buy it to 70? I guess I'll lower it to $64. The WNBA is paying attention to these trends, and they're seeing firsthand what Caitlin Clark is worth to this league.
July 17th. Mark that date because it's when the WNBA's worst nightmare became reality. Watch this crash happen in real time. $262 average ticket prices, gone. Dropped to $64 in hours. That's not a market correction, that's a complete financial apocalypse. We're talking 75% of ticket value evaporated the second Clark's injury hit social media. I'm watching grown adults panic selling tickets like their house was on fire. From $121 get-in prices to $65, and still nobody wanted them. You know what this tells us? Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA isn't just less valuable, it's practically worthless to the fans who actually pay money.
The ticket prices. The demand fell off a cliff. And it's not just the on-court product that suffers without number 22, Caitlin Clark. The entire weekend's economic opportunities have felt the fallout.
But when it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
This year, for the second time ever, the WNBA All-Star Game was supposed to feature an actual star. Normally, this celebration of pretend basketball features players that no one's ever heard of.
But here's what makes this absolutely terrifying for the WNBA. This has happened before. Every single time Clark missed games this season, ticket prices crashed. Washington game, 47% drop. Chicago game, 71% plummet. The league has been getting warning after warning that their entire business model depends on one player. And what did they do with those warnings? Absolutely nothing. They kept letting opposing teams use Clark as a punching bag while refs looked the other way. This all-star disaster wasn't bad luck. It was completely predictable.
How did we get to an all-star game in Indiana where Caitlin Clark is not healthy enough to play? Well, it all started last year in her rookie season, where she received 20% of all the flagrant fouls in the league. And most of them came from Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. And these weren't basketball plays. They were not only fouling her, but they were getting up, laughing about it, laughing about Caitlin Clark getting assaulted. Any other work environment, people go to jail for what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her. You know, I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. And you know, I'm not exactly sure why, but it just is what it is. And we've got to help her learn to adjust and use it against them in certain ways. You know, we've got to find some ways to make it a little bit easier for her. But the level of physicality overall in our league has been at a different level than it's been for a long time.
Now we're getting to the real story that the WNBA doesn't want you to know. Clark's injury didn't happen by accident. It's the inevitable result of months of referees refusing to do their jobs. Watch these clips and tell me this is normal basketball. Players are literally grabbing, shoving, and hammering Clark without consequences. 20% of all flagrant fouls in the league went to one rookie. Think about that insanity. Any other workplace, people go to jail for this level of assault. But in the WNBA, the refs just swallow their whistles and let it happen. They created a target on their biggest star's back and acted surprised when she got hurt.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls, they don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
You want to know what real sports leagues do with their superstars? They protect them. Michael Jordan got calls. LeBron gets calls. Tom Brady got protection. Even Messi gets protected on the soccer field. It's not rigging, it's basic business sense. You don't let people destroy your most valuable assets. But the WNBA? They let opposing teams treat their golden ticket like a practice dummy. The Washington Post literally suggested the league change its logo to a bruise. That's not sports journalism. That's a damning indictment of how badly the WNBA has failed its own players.
I actually had that injury 2006, and listen, I was heavily taped around my thigh, around my glute, just trying to make sure there was enough pressure to hold that groin. And the hard part is that the groin is sort of an area that you can't just touch and go, it hurts right here. You feel it deep. You have to get a lot of deep treatment, whether it's ice and heat and rest. Well, Caitlin Clark, she can't find a lot of rest right now because she's mid-season. But I think that injury is really tough because it lingers. No matter how much medicine you take, you can feel fine. You get back out there, one move, one change of direction, and boom, you're right back feeling that same type of pain. So it's going to be a tough injury that she's going to have to manage.
How long did it take you to recover from?
To be honest, Tracy, I play tennis and I can still feel that injury linger because I don't know that it ever really goes away. You just learn to manage and play with it, which
has 57 head and neck injuries in 2.5 seasons. Let that number haunt you. This isn't basketball. This is sanctioned violence. And now their meal ticket is dealing with a groin injury that could linger for months. Lisa Leslie warns these injuries can follow you for years. Every uncalled grab, every ignored shove, every foul that went without a whistle built up to this moment. The officiating crisis has now cost the WNBA millions in revenue and exposed their complete incompetence in protecting what matters most. When your biggest star gets injured because you won't protect her, don't act shocked when fans stop buying tickets.
A bunch of players and coaches of the last few days have complained without being fine-worthy about officiating. I just want to see about your thoughts on if officiating is an issue and how it can be improved. Because clearly there seems to be problems or disconnect between what players and coaches feel and what officials are actually
I know as a fan of sports for 60 years now, I know that no one's ever happy with officiating. All sports deal with it, but we're working hard to make sure we're putting the best product out on the court, and our officiating then follows that.
So what did the WNBA get for their negligence? An all-star game that was an absolute embarrassment to basketball. Empty seats dotted Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Caitlin Clark's hometown. The energy was flatter than a pancake. Players were just jacking up 4-point shots like it was a carnival game instead of competing. One analyst called it a glorified layup line, and honestly, that was being generous. This was supposed to be the showcase event of the season, but it felt like a practice scrimmage that nobody cared about. The contrast was devastating. With Clark, you get electricity. Without her, you get a funeral.
They play against Breanna Stewart. She goes to the line 14 times. Asia Wilson goes to the line 13 times. And Aaliyah Boston can't play 20 minutes in a game without being on the bench in foul trouble. That's another problem that we're dealing with. But like I said, this year, it's not just Caitlin Clark. If you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair, and they are going to cheat and do whatever it takes to do what the higher ups say.
I mean, you're going to mess around, and a large, massive group of fans are going to be like, enough is enough. We've never had to see anything like it in sports, but you don't see these other leagues going around talking crazy about their fan bases all the time like this league does. It's continuous. They're running their mouth about the people that are paying money to see them. You don't have other jobs where people walk up. You're in a public job that's in front of the world.
And through all of this financial carnage, through all the fan boycotts, through all the empty seats and crashed ticket prices, everyone was waiting to see how Commissioner Cathy Engelbert would respond to the biggest crisis of her tenure. This was her moment to show real leadership, to acknowledge the officiating problems, to promise changes. Instead, she delivered the most tone-deaf, corporate-speak response that made fans even more furious. Her answer will make you understand exactly why this league is failing its own players and fans on the court.
Mascot is going through Caitlin shit. Yeah, just going through, I'm going to tell you, Leah Boston, let's break down her face right now. I am not happy with the Liberty mascot invading our home turf right here. I mean, that mascot's cute. That mascot's cute. It is. She's having fun, but, it's the Liberty mascot. So, of course, that is what everybody notices, right? After the meeting, the WWE style meeting in the back of the arena, right? As the heels are all meeting together, Breanna Stewart and Sabrina and Sandy Barndello, basically the Liberty, and of course the recruiting into the Four Horsemen. They're recruiting Caitlin Clark.
There it is, corporate speak while Indianapolis counted their losses and fans organized boycotts. No one's ever happy with officiating. That's her response to a financial disaster? While businesses faced massive losses and fans literally voted with their wallets, she talked about productive dialogue and maintaining team profitability. The disconnect is absolutely staggering. Fans wanted accountability, concrete changes, someone to admit that letting teams target your biggest star is catastrophic for business. Instead, they got empty platitudes about shared goals. This weak leadership proved the WNBA is completely out of touch with reality. The question isn't whether they'll learn, it's whether there'll be anything left to save when they finally wake up. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think the WNBA will ever protect their stars, or are they determined to destroy their own golden goose? Hit that subscribe button because this story is far from over.